I love this line from Drake where he says, as long as the outcome is income. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the 3 things I believe every college graduate should know when they're ready to enter the real world. For those of you who are in a rush, these 3 things are going to be the following. First, college educated doesn't mean anything other than cocky and uninitiated. Second, your student loan debt is going to be a rude reality check. Third, the first job you have when you leave college will not end up being your career. That I can tell you. So that first one, college educated just means cocky and uninitiated. What do I mean by this? Well, I mean what I say. There's certain things that you won't do, right? So you've been studying for 4 years, 6 years, I don't know how many years, depends on what your goals are, your academic goals at least. The problem with that is you're being taught to certain curriculums. You're being taught to fulfill requirements that might not actually prepare you for the real world. You don't know what you don't know. What do I mean by this? There's been a lot of lessons that I've learned along the way. I've had to fail a lot. I've had to suck. I tried to be a real estate salesperson in the city of Boston. That didn't work out. I was an Uber driver and a Lyft driver at the same time. I could not do that more than 2 months or however long I did that one summer. I delivered pizzas for Auto Pizzeria. I was also a pet sitter. So my fiance and I, we watched dogs. We watched a lot of dogs in our apartment. Technically, we should not have had dogs in the apartment. It was a no pet policy in the lease, but we broke the rules. And of course now I run a wedding and commercial filmmaking business, Cinema Jubilee, and everything that I learned prior, all the jobs that I held previously, as well as all my college education did not prepare me for anything I'm doing right now. In fact, there was never a course in my filmmaking and television curriculum or whatever you want to call that, where they said, hey, you should leverage video. You should put out 1 video a week. You should maybe even put a 15-second video on your Instagram story. None of that is taught. They don't tell you how to leverage social media. It's very esoteric. It's this idea that let's study how social media has changed things culturally compared to television. Yay, that's not practical. It doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't generate revenue. All it does is get you to conform to this idea that I gotta write papers, I gotta do projects, I gotta regurgitate this information without any higher calling. So that's a problem. And the other problem is they don't teach you how to be self-educated. Everything has to conform to what the professor wants, and every professor is different. As you progress, you think that, oh, junior year harder than sophomore year harder than freshman year, senior year harder than junior year. It doesn't really correlate. It's all about the professors you pick and the classes you take, and none of them prepare you for the reality that if you really want to level up, if you really want to succeed, especially if you're a business owner, or maybe you even just have a side hustle, you work full time, whatever the case may be, they don't teach you the value of self-education. They don't tell you who are the people that you should follow. They don't tell you what are the books you should read outside of school. And first of all, who even reads their textbooks, their college textbooks? I remember it was like a relief whenever we could sell the books at the end of the semester because we probably didn't even open the books. It was a waste of time, waste of money. The second point, that your student loans will be a rude reality check. In our first apartment living together in Alston, Danielle and I, we started getting emails from, whoever was our loan servicer. See, to this day, I still don't know. Now it's Great Lakes. It's been all consolidated nicely for me. But when the emails first started coming, and they came about a month after graduation, I had no idea, she had no idea what these emails were, what they meant, what we'd have to pay, all that fun stuff. So we log in, we discover we each have $30,000 each of student loan debt. Add that together, that's 60 grand. That's a sizable down payment on a nice house. 60 grand is money that you could invest into a business. 60 grand might be a franchising fee. 60 grand would have bought all the equipment that we have to run Cinema Jubilee 3 times over. Now guess what? There's other little loans in there. There's loans that aren't part of the Great Lakes. There's about $5,000 to $10,000 worth of loans that are separate, that were through BU that we're paying. Please understand something about the loans topic. I'm not saying that I shouldn't have to pay. Everything costs something. What I'm saying is, if you're gonna take on debt, if you're gonna leverage debt, there's a right way and there's a wrong way. Here's what I would tell you to do. Google Dan Pena, watch a couple of his videos, see if you can tolerate his approach, to put it mildly, and then comment below what you discovered about debt. As far as the student loans go, You have the option of paying them off as soon as you can. If you have a job, you can pay a certain percentage. Or if you have no money and your income's low, you have to file for income-driven repayment. This is all stuff we discovered a year or two after the fact. And to this day, we haven't started paying the Great Lakes. We've been busy paying the other ones on top of all our other bills and all our business expenses, our personal expenses. We got some credit card debt, all that fun stuff. I want to frame this for you in a way that is tangible. Let's say the first job you get, you're going to be making about $36,000. Maybe it's better than McDonald's. It's better than some jobs you could hold at the state level, maybe even the federal level, depending on your experience. Your whole student loan debt is 1 year's worth of work. Can you make up for that? Can you earn that money fast? Can you pay it off? They tell you, well, you got to make $300 payments every month. Okay, if you want to live on your own, you can't do that. If you want to spend money on groceries and alcohol, you can't do that. So you're like backed into this corner right off the bat. And it's so debilitating. Have fun with that. Have fun with $30,000 debt. Some people I know have $50,000 debt, $60,000 debt, and they didn't even go to grad school. That's crazy to me. Now, on this subject of jobs, and a job that pays you $15 an hour, 40 hours a week, that job will not be your last job, and it won't be your career. And in fact, it shouldn't be your career. You should want more. You shouldn't take the first job that you apply for and that you get an interview for and that they say yes to you. Play the field. When you go to an interview, you're interviewing them. They're not just interviewing you. You need to understand what that culture is like working there and ask tough questions. If they're gonna ask you tough questions, you ask them tough questions. Read the body language. Listen to the tone of their answers, whether they like to answer your questions or not. Read into all of that and ask yourself, is this worth it? When you're in that job, I'm not saying to not work hard. If you take the job, work your ass off. Prove everybody wrong. Prove that you were worth it. Prove that you should be making double or triple what they're paying you. But just know that deep down, you're meant for more, that you're not gonna be defined by a single job. And definitely don't get cozy there and think, wow, in 2-3 years, I'll be promoted. Then I'll make enough to buy a house. I'll start my family, this, that, and the other thing. And you shouldn't think that way. You're thinking too small, especially for all that you invested into your college education. Come on, I don't wanna beat a dead horse, but I do wanna offer some bonus tidbits and tips for people who are recent college graduates. The first is, you might want to live on your own. You might want to live with your girlfriend or your boyfriend. You might want to live with some roommates, and that's great. You don't want to be in mommy and daddy's house, I understand, but guess what? I'm about to be 26, running my own business, and I live with my fiance's mom. Yes, you heard that right. What am I telling you here? Build up that nest egg. Build it up. You want a nest egg. Do not be ashamed to live at home for 2, 3, 4, 5 years after college. As long as you're working hard, you have a vision, and you have dreams and goals, and you're taking action daily, you do not have to feel bad. You can save that money and you can invest in anything. Invest in yourself, invest in more self-education, invest in a business. Throw it at cryptocurrency. I don't care what you do. Save it and think of something that you can put that money into. Let your money work for you. Unless you're 26, you should ask your parents, hey, can I stay on your health insurance plan? Why wouldn't you? And before you turn 26, make sure you actually use that. Get your physical done every year. You need to know if you're healthy. Health is wealth. I don't care what anyone tells you, health is wealth. Try to exercise 3 times a week. You don't have to be this machine that's doing it 5 days a week, 7 days a week. If you want to, great, more power to you. At least 3 days a week. Take a walk, 20-minute walk every day. You'll create new pathways of thinking. It sounds hokey pokey, it sounds new age. It's not. Walking is proven to give you new thoughts and to center you and to make you feel good. Even 20 minutes a day, low impact. The final bonus would be get right with your faith. I don't care if you're a Muslim, a Christian, you're Jewish, you're Buddhist, you're a Sikh, you're an atheist, you're agnostic. Whatever the case may be, get right with your belief system and challenge yourself to think outside the box. Gather these experiences, talk to people, see where you stand. Understand if your faith is worth believing in and worth defending and worth guiding all your morals and your ethics. We need to always be questioning things. And find yourself a belief system and a faith that will propel you to where you want to go and that you do not have to be ashamed of, and that you know if more people were involved in that same faith, the world would be a better place. With that all being said, I just want to recap what the 3 points here were. First off, college educated doesn't mean anything else other than cocky and uninitiated. Second, your student loan debt will be a rude reality check. Look into it and have fun. Third, you do not need to consider that first job you get as your defining career and the ultimate destination and course of your life, your professional life. It just doesn't have to be that way. If you enjoyed this video, I'd very much appreciate that you share it with your friends, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, anyone who might be about to graduate, or maybe you just graduated, or you've been a graduate for 2 to 3 years and some of what I said resonated with you. Please leave a comment below. Maybe I'll follow you. We can follow each other, have fun. If you don't follow me, I'm not gonna lose sleep. I'm gonna keep making these videos and trying to provide value for people. Thank you so much for spending your time with me and for letting me into your mental space here. So I really do appreciate you taking the time to hear what I have to say. God bless all of you. That's it.